Where y'all from?
I'm from San Antonio, Texas.
San Antonio. We're going to be there.
You know it.
We're going to be there.
Texas Tech head coach Krista Gerlich knows firsthand what it's like being a panhandle kid herself.
Well, I first heard about Bailey actually through a DM on Twitter. A good friend of mine is actually the superintendent at Groover ISD, where she goes to school. And when she was a 7th grader, he messaged me and said, you know, you might just keep an eye on her. Like, I think she might be pretty special.
I got to know Coach Gerlich at Texas Tech. Junior high track meet, 8th grade, she cleared some ridiculous height. Private messaged her through Twitter and said, how soon is too early for recruiting? Because we got a girl that's pretty special.
Also in 2A, Groover freshman Bailey Maupin won the high jump after having to wait around for about an hour and a half due to a rain delay.
I warmed up and I was all ready, and then we had the rain delay for about an hour, so I had to re-warm up, and I didn't know if I would be ready, but I was. It's a lot of pressure, honestly. I was kind of nervous coming in, but jumping first, I had to jump first, so I felt like I could set the bar for everyone else, and that was my motivation right there.
It's Thursday morning, the day before the Stratford game. Bailey arrives at Groover High School after dropping her sister Marley off at the middle school.
I know Obed does not get here early. He just somehow gets there every day. If he doesn't get that one, he just parks in front of him.
Come here, come here. I know her.
Why are we huddled in the doorway?
Sorry.
Did you see mine? I got my Jordans on like you today.
I see it. It's right on. Get out of here.
Then Leo in his Vans.
Yeah.
Why are you? Mason, you want to be in the video?
He doesn't like shoes. That's what it is.
My first memory of basketball, I think, would be playing inside the house with my dad with a little foam basketball. We had one of those like little Nerf basketballs, and we had a little goal, and he would throw me alley-oops. So that's probably my very first memory, was slamming down Nerf balls in the living room.
It's the last practice before game day. Groover head coach Trent Langford spends today's practice tightening things up before tomorrow night's big matchup. Groover is 5-0 in district play so far. A big win tomorrow night sets the tone for the second half of district play.
It's no pressure here. It's one big happy family. I mean, I'm so blessed to be able to be raised in such a great community. I'm surrounded by people that love me and just want the best for me. So I don't feel pressure when it comes to playing here. I just feel like it's something that I need to do to give back to my community because of how much they've given to me. I just want to give back at this point, and my gift is basketball. So I'm trying to use that to the best of my ability to give back to my community. Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for letting us get together and eat lunch together and celebrate all of us being here together. Thank you for the safe travels. Help us to play good tonight and play for each other and for a bigger purpose than ourselves. Everything is in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
What makes rivalry games special are the traditions that come with them. On the day of the Stratford game, Groover students wear camo to school. For game day lunch, Wiley grills elk burgers for the team and coaches. Today, the team is meeting for lunch at Bailey's grandmother's house, which is conveniently located across the street from the high school.
I was one of those when we were like 50 points ahead or 50 points behind, and it's like 20 seconds left. They'd go, look down and go, okay.
But you played 3-on-3.
Yeah, we played 3-on-3.
Right.
So, yeah, just a little age there.
But there is something unique about Stratford, the rivalry. I think it's because there is a similarity between the two communities and schools. Usually pack the house pretty tightly, and the games are, you know, a good old-fashioned brawl, so to speak, and a lot of intensity, and it makes for a really fun evening. It really does.
So play for each other. Be each other's greatest teammate out there. Okay, second thing is first contact. Make first contact. Okay, get the boards and let's get up the floor.
Groover is coming into tonight's matchup against district rival Stratford with a 23-0 record. The Lady Hounds have been on a tear this season, defeating their opponents by an average of over 35 points per game. Now I know what you're thinking, but this isn't Cupcake City. Groover's undefeated record includes big wins over state-ranked opponents in larger classifications. Groover is locked in and has their eyes set on a deep playoff run again this season. Senior Callie Conyers gets Groover going early with 2 quick scores. Pressure is the theme of the game. Groover's full court pressure and up-tempo style of play overwhelm Stratford early. Bailey primarily facilitates in the first half, but in the second half becomes much more assertive. Groover head coach Trent Langford continues to coach despite the large lead, always teaching and holding his players to the standards set before the season.
Signing day for 2 high school girls basketball players. Starting in Groover, 5'11" 4-star guard Bailey Maupin inked her letter with the Texas Tech Lady Raiders. She ranks 54th in the nation and 14th in her position, according to ESPN. In her first 3 seasons at Groover, Maupin led the Greyhounds to a 2A state championship and was named TABC 2A Player of the Year and is a McDonald's All-American nominee. Maupin's multi-sport athleticism and family ties, along with head coach Krista Gerlich's early recruiting, made Texas Tech an easy decision.
She was my first offer in 7th grade when she was at UTSA, and she just constantly was calling me, texting me, asking me how I was doing. I can just tell she's a real genuine person. I think for the longest that the 806 kids were kind of overlooked, and now we're paving the way for the younger athletes to stay in the 806. So, I mean, we have all the talent that we need here to win a national championship. It's just time to put it together.
First of all, her athleticism. I mean, she's an elite athlete. She can really jump, and she's just so athletic. Certainly helps us. And she's a big guard. I mean, she's a 5'10" point guard that can run the offense. She can shoot it. She can lead the break, and she can finish on the end, up in the air. You know, a little bit above the rim. I think she can grab the rim as a 5'10" guard.
Thank you to Coach Calloway for putting my name in her year in 7th grade, and then when she was at her college before Texas Tech, she was recruiting me, and even when she moved to Texas Tech, she never stopped recruiting me. So she's just constantly been building a relationship with me since I think 7th or 8th grade. And with her, it's more than basketball. It's someone that I know will have my back on and off the court, and I just have built that relationship and that trust to where I feel comfortable going there and spending the next 4 years of my life, and her modeling me into the person that I want to become.
You know, one of the things that Bailey said to me in her recruiting process is 2 of her goals were to win a national championship and to get her jersey retired. And it was kind of interesting because I was like, I happen to know somebody that did that here, you know, and that's what I want to help her do. I want to help every kid do that, you know. Is that feasible? I don't know. Tell me it's not, you know, but we're going to certainly try. And that's what makes Texas Tech so special, is it can happen here. And that's what I want to really stress to. That's what I stress to Bailey, and that's what I want to stress to other recruits, particularly in West Texas, is you don't have to leave West Texas to make your dreams come true. And I am somebody that has done that, and that's what I want for my players in the future as well. And the fact that she's a small town girl, I love, because that means that, and particularly from the Panhandle, in my opinion, that means that they're going to be tough, they're going to play a lot of sports, they're going to be highly competitive. And those are things that are intangibles to me, that are just things that you can't find and you can't make.
It's a cold Saturday morning in Groover, Texas. Just 12 hours after scoring 22 points in last night's win, Bailey is up early with her dad and brothers before her team's Saturday morning practice.
Being raised on a farm, we're expected to help when my dad needs it. It's a part of being a part of the family, is helping out on the farm, helping out, moving cattle, sorting cattle, just doing whatever we need, doing whatever's asked of us. No matter if you have a game last night or you have practice in an hour, it's just what's expected of us, and it's a tradition, and it's a way of life. And honestly, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I think it gives me a sort of grit that no one else has.
Cattle make you madder than anything else. Nothing ever goes exactly as planned, and you just kind of roll with it. But we just needed to go get some of these calves off the Circle 3. Every once in a while, we'll get a weight on them and just to kind of see where they're at.
The Maupin farm has been in the family for over 100 years. When she talks about it, you can hear the pride in her voice. This is more than a kid willing to help her dad out. She loves working with her hands and appreciates the hard work that comes with being a part of a farming and ranching family. Groover went on to win their final 2 district games before heading into the playoffs. Bailey earned district MVP. The Lady Hounds ran through their first 2 playoff games. In the 3rd round, Groover got some redemption, knocking out regional foe Panhandle, returning the favor for their loss in the 3rd round to them last season. Next came New Home, Groover's biggest test of the season. The Lady Hounds won in overtime with a big shot from Bailey to seal the deal. Groover defeated Wellington in the regional finals to get to state. Groover opens up the state tournament with their semifinal game against San Saba. No slouch themselves, San Saba comes into state with a 31-7 record. You can see the nerves showing. Both teams are tight. Coach Langford subs Bailey, letting her regroup. It worked. Bailey gets back in the game and scores 16 straight points. Groover fans are known for traveling well, and they did not disappoint at the state tournament. Groover's loyal fans traveled over 9 hours to support their Lady Hounds and watch them compete at state. Stanford is an accomplished and dangerous team with a mix of skilled guards and athletic bigs. Their bigs certainly created a matchup for Groover in the state championship game. Groover jumps out to an early lead, but Stanford keeps the game within striking distance. Junior point guard Brenna Butler is huge, knocking down big jumpers down the stretch to hold the lead for the Lady Hounds. Stanford won't go away, though. Timely threes from Stanford guards keep them within striking distance. Bailey hits a big three at the buzzer to close out the third quarter. Groover has the momentum and lead going into the fourth. Mission accomplished. Groover has won state. The Lady Hounds finished the season with a perfect 33-0 record. Bailey and senior guard Callie Conyers earn all tournament team honors. Bailey's named state tournament MVP, where she averaged 19 points, 10 rebounds, 3.5 steals, and 2 assists at state.
Bailey, I have preached to you throughout your basketball career and in your life in general that it is important to take pride in who you are, but also to be humble in all you do. The Bible tells us that pride is our enemy, and humility is the position of our heart that God desires for us. James 4:6 says, "It is common knowledge that God goes against the willful proud. God gives grace to the willing humble." Secretly, I would swell with pride for what you have accomplished, but would quickly be reminded of Proverbs 11. Proverbs 11 says, "When pride comes, then comes disgrace, but with humility comes wisdom." You see, the difference between pride and humility is perspective. Pride is oriented around self-importance, while humility sees self-importance take a backseat to a bigger mission, the greater good of perhaps a team. When you are humble, you can see yourself as a part of a whole, or better yet, you can simply see others. Edwin was intrigued that you could be a cowgirl in the morning and go to prom that same night. He was inspired by the things you do on the farm and your desire to help your dad. I have to agree, I wish I was as good as a hand as you are. He thought it was pretty cool that you liked to hunt and even shot an elk of all things on your home place. He loves the fact that you love Jesus and Sunday night youth is a priority where we live. All these things he thinks are so grand absolutely are, and I'm so glad that God knit you together in my womb all those years ago. You see, the story that God has written for your life will be far greater than any 15-minute documentary that any human could put together. You are perfectly and wonderfully made. God is going to use you in a mighty way to bring glory to himself. The Lady Raiders are so lucky to have landed you. I know one thing for sure, and that is, I would want you on my team. You fight so hard for victory every time you go to battle. You never give up until the buzzer sounds and you have another W in your bag. You can be completely out of gas and somehow find another gear to shift into. You just always seem to do what it takes to be on the winning side. I'm not going to lie, you have brought your dad and I, your grandparents, your friends, your family, and the entire town of Groover such joy watching you play. Watching you play a game. Yet, at the end of the day, that's all it is, simply a game. A game that will fund your college education, a game that will shape your life, take you to unfamiliar places, and introduce you to people that you may have never known. A game that could be an avenue for you to meet people in dark places, people that have never heard of the gospel, people that need a stronger teammate to walk alongside them in their own faith journey. As much joy as you have brought to us watching you play basketball, even more joy I find in the beautiful woman you are becoming. I pray that you allow God to sink deep into your soul as He continues to write your story. The best is yet to come. I know this was an excessively long letter to really just tell you how much I love you, how proud of you I am, and how I am overjoyed that someone else thinks my number 20 is worth doing a documentary on. Love always, Mom, your biggest fan. #Wreckham.
This may be surprising, but my favorite Bailey Maupin athletic moment was not on a basketball court. It was on the diamond. I was coaching my son's Little League team. They were around 8, 9 years old, I'm guessing, and there was a softball team, but Bailey, she's a competitor. She always wanted a challenge. She wants to step up to the next level. She wanted to play baseball with the boys. And she was a top 3 player on the team. We let her play. We needed her to play. So she played with us. And early on in that season, we were playing right over here we were playing baseball on our softball diamond. We had her over at first base. It was a tight game. The opposing team had runners on, and we had 2 outs. And the ball was hit to the left side of the infield. Bailey's playing first base. And the boy we had over at third had a heck of an arm. And he charged that ball, stood up, and rifled the ball to first base. And the runner's coming hard down the line, and the ball was much to Bailey's right. And typically in that case, what's the first baseman going to do? They're going to reach their glove way across and catch that ball. Well, that ball's hurling across there, and Bailey just sticks her right hand out and barehands that ball. And you could hear the pop from 100 yards away. I thought she broke her hand. Well, she didn't. She flipped it right back to the mound and ran into the dugout. And the opposing coach he was a little upset. He thought she was showing off. But I can tell you, in her 8-year-old, just very athletic mind, her instinct was the most efficient thing to do was not to reach across my body. It was just to catch that ball. And she did. And I'm not so sure if that coach was that mad because he thought she was showing off or just that a girl was beating him. But that was my favorite Bailey Maupin moment.
And Bailey, I remember her as a toddler traveling with her dad, and seen her on horseback, and we brand our cattle every year in the spring, and her and her 2 brothers, they came last spring and worked, and we had so much fun. It's a great way for a kid to grow up.
I would say her humble humility. You know, she doesn't necessarily, she's had a lot of limelight, but she doesn't necessarily bask in it. It's more of a, and Bailey completely understands that she's also on a really talented team, and that without the rest of that team, this season wouldn't be where it is.
I would say right at the beginning in 3rd grade when she first, started playing with our Little Dribbler program, she just had skills that other little girls didn't have. And she loved it. And she just wanted to work all the time to get better and do things that other kids weren't doing and moves that other kids couldn't dream about at that age.
Wiley would tie a string to the ceiling and put a ball on the end of that string. And Bailey, every time she walked by that, she had to jump and try to touch that ball. When she got to where she could touch that ball, Wiley would raise that. He taught her to jump, and consequently, it's made her so much better. You watch a girl, not a lot of girls can jump, but Bailey can jump, and it's because she started out early.